Hey everyone, it's Mr. Canfield. We're going to be doing lesson 4.4 today. So you should have already tried, relatively speaking, this activity here. If you have not yet, stop the video, go try it, and then come back. I'm going to spoil everything. So the first question says, without doing any measuring, which side in the triangle do you estimate to be the longest and the shortest? Well, shortest is easier for me. I see C looks like it's the shortest. And then there's A, oh, you know what? B is just as long as A, and then it keeps on going, and it's at an angle. So I'll say that B is equal to the long side. Without doing any measuring, which angle in the triangle do you estimate to be the biggest? The smallest? Well, big angle, I mean, that one is obtuse. So I'm going to say angle B is big. And it's kind of a toss-up. I think, oh wait, I'm supposed to be giving you the correct answers. C is the smallest one. Might be a little hard to tell, but C is the smallest one. So let's see if your predictions are correct. If you go through and use a ruler, you could have used inches. I used centimeters. So this is 5 centimeters, B is 7 centimeters, and C is like 2.7-ish centimeters. And then if we use a protractor, A is 34 degrees, B is 128 degrees, and C is 18 degrees. So I know I just told you that I used centimeters. I am 100% copying off the answer key with that. I guess I should have grabbed it. You know what? We're already past it. We can measure those things. That's what happens. But you'll see that B is in fact longer than the other two, and C is the short one. So what conjecture can you make about where the biggest side is in relation to where the biggest angle is? So let's pay attention to this. 5 was like medium. 34, is that the biggest? No, I've got a bigger angle. Okay, so here's my big angle. Oh wait, here's my big side. I wonder if that's always true. It is. So big side is always across from the big angle. I guess I should have written big angle. I like to think about it as the big angle opens up to the big side. Like it kind of like points out to the big side. And medium goes to medium and small goes to small. So another way we could say it is the order of the sides matches the order of the angles. So that has to be true. This is true. So looking down here, we'll see we have some problems. Here, I see I've got an angle of 25 across from 5. That's fine. But this angle of 27 is also across from 5. That can't happen. If these two sides match, then the angles that correspond to them would have to match too. So either the sides would need to be different or the angles would need to be the same. So vice versa, here, these two angles are equal. Well, then these two sides should be equal. Or since the sides aren't the same, the angles shouldn't be the same. Let's look here. Well, this is 90 degrees, and these are both acute angles. This is bigger than the other two angles, so then this should be the biggest side. But it's not the biggest side. 10 is. That's impossible. Because you would need this angle right here to be more than 90 degrees to make that work. All right, sorry for all the sniffles. All right, let's see this next one. Let's see. Oh, I thought that was a B. It's a 6. So, wait, everything looks fine, right? We've got biggest angle, biggest side, medium angle, medium side, smallest angle, smallest side. There is something wrong. What do those add up to? 5 plus 6 is 11. That means 13 is too big for the third side. 5 and 6 need to add up to more than the third side for it to be able to be a triangle. So this is an impossible triangle as well. All right. So in the notes, it says a bunch of stuff. We don't need to write all those words, but I will. The relative size of the sides determines the relative sizes of the angles and vice versa. So the angles and sides link each other together. Big goes with big, little goes with little. So something that we just kind of implied in this last one was that if we have an isosceles triangle, I'm sorry, I pointed at the wrong thing. If we have an isosceles triangle where two sides are equal, then these two angles actually have to be equal. So, and this goes both ways. If the two angles are equal, then the two sides should be equal. And so that's a special thing with isosceles triangles. Isosceles will always have that relationship. So that was 1. Here's 2. In an isosceles triangle, we call those the base angle. Base angles are congruent. So, and that goes vice versa too. If your base angles are congruent, then it's an isosceles triangle. All right, let's see what's going on. In the triangle shown, PQ is 5.6, PR is 6.1, and QR is 5.2. Without a protractor, put the angles in order from smallest to greatest. So I'll do small, medium, and large. Well, let's see. That's my smallest side, so that means it's got to be across from my smallest angle. That's my medium side, so that's going to be across from my medium angle. That's my large side, so it's got to be across from my large angle. So small angle would be P, medium angle would be R, big angle would be Q. P, R, Q. All right, find the value of x plus y. Wait a minute. Interesting. We have an equilateral triangle. So what does that tell us about the three angles then? They're all the same size. All the angles have to be the same size. This is an interesting, tricky question. The value of x plus y. Well, I'm not going to look at the answer key. I'm going to try to figure this out on my own. I could say 5x plus 4y minus 8 plus 3y plus 9 equals 180. So we have two unknowns, and you can't solve an equation with two unknowns. You can't absolutely find out what it is. But wait a minute, if all these angles are the same, then what's one of them have to be? Well, we could do 180 divided by 3, and that would give us what one of them is, which is 60. So I could say 5x is actually supposed to be equal to 60, and then I could just, oh wait, that's easy now. I just divide both sides by 5. So I get x is 12. And then I could pick either one of these. 3y plus 9 is equal to 60, right? Or 4y minus 8 is 60, either one. I'll subtract the 9 from both sides. I'll get 3y is equal to 51, and then divide both sides by 3, and y is equal to, what is that, 17? Let me double check. Yeah, 17. So the value of x plus y is a fancy question, but it's just 12 plus 17 then. 29. All right, this one says, explain why GKH, why this triangle is isosceles. All right, let's see. Well, that's 68. So we have vertical angles here. So then that's 68. Well, now I can find the third angle in the triangle, right? I can just do 180 minus 56 minus 68. And if I do that, I get 56. Oh, hey, look, this angle and this angle are the same. So then we could look at it like this, right? Those are our two base angles. And these two sides have to be the same, because the angle size and the side size correspond to each other. They go along with each other. Prove the hypotenuse is always the longest side of a right triangle. The rubric shown will help you make sure you have included all the necessary elements. So the definition of a right triangle, we got a triangle with a right angle in it, right? So I think the way that I would talk about proving this, you can look up their answer if you want to see it. But for me, if I was trying to prove this, I would say if this is 90, well then these two have to be less than 90. Neither of them can be 90, because we know that angle A plus angle B plus angle C is equal to 180, because that's all triangles. So since we already know C is 90, we can say A plus B plus 90 equals 180, or just A plus B equals, when we subtract both sides by 90, A plus B has to equal 90. So neither of them can be 90, unless the other one is 0, but that doesn't make any sense, because a 0-degree angle doesn't open. So we're guaranteed that these are smaller. I think that fixes it then, because we already said the size of the angle and the size of the side go together. So this has to be the biggest angle, so that has to be the biggest side. So they write a little bit more than that in theirs, but that is the basic idea of that. All right. Well, I hope this was helpful if you missed class, and I'll see you around. Bye.